Ooh, might make your head blow off.
Hey yo, it's a talk show host, Kana Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up, you know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, Alpha Male God, one half of Relations. You wanna hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's good? Welcome to an all new episode of Relations. My name is Kana Lassiter.
Uh-oh, she had a hiccup.
I
Say
did
it
not.
with me now. Alpha Male God, 51 Spade, aka the nigga you love to hate.
That was that good professional pause.
Man, this is for the new season. This is what it's for. It's for the new season. You know what I'm saying? It's a new season, new day, new age, and we here to crank it out.
You know how we do it. We do 2 topics in 1 hour. So we're going to jump right in. Our first topic of the night is bedroom critique. Like, do men really take that well? Yes or no? And then the second topic of the night, of course, was inspired by another podcast that both of us watch, Drink Champs. Shout out to Noriega for Drink Champs. We really enjoyed the whole show. Recently, they had Amber Rose on. And her request was that all men refrain from the word hoe. In fact, I think she went as far as enough to say anything negative, men shouldn't say at all. I mean, she really dug deep, and we're going to respond to that tonight.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Let's just start off with Amber Rose. Let's get that conversation out of the way. This was triggering for me.
Oh, it's triggering you. All right, so we're gonna listen to what Miss Rose had to say.
Blame?
That's a Tides thing.
Like, who do you blame for that? Like, is it the girl's problem or is it the consumer?
Oh, this is not even just about
It's the
females,
consumer.
guys. That was just the woman thing that I used. That was just one aspect.
But I
of it.
just feel like guys should not, like, just never talk about women.
As far as
everything. Like, it should never be a conversation.
you said, talk about them.
Yeah, like, as far as, like, okay, let's say, like, me, Kim Kardashian, Jada, Ari. Like, it should never be a conversation amongst men because it's like, you have to then blame the consumer, right? Because these girls, us, are, like, known as, like, not having talent, but, like, we make a lot of money.
Well, no, I don't.
Okay.
And she had a lot more to say, but we gonna start right there.
Yeah, first let me unpack this. She in no way is in the same category as Kim Kardashian.
Oh, come on now. See, I thought you was gonna have some points, and now we gonna.
I just have to get that off my chest because Kim has accomplished so much more that the first thing you think of when you think of Kim is not she's a hoe.
That's not true. We think of her as a hoe too with the Ray J sex tape. That is
But
absolutely
that was her
not true.
boyfriend.
That ain't. He
How
didn't
are
claim
you-
her. He didn't claim
Yes,
her.
he did. They were in a relationship at the time. What are you talking about? Don't even try to debate me about Kardashian facts. They were in a relationship.
and she's considered a hoe. Next.
Anyways, they don't belong in the same category. This is my problem with what she said. She made very valid points that she's among women who get naked, who are sexually free, and get a check for it. So if that is the choice that you made, then there are consequences when you make those choices. There was consequences for Kim Kardashian's sex tape, and there will be consequences for you shaking your ass on the internet. Sorry, sis. That is the role that you chose, and that is what comes from that. You're gonna get judged. I don't even have to touch whether it's right or wrong. You saying that men shouldn't talk about what they see out there is the same as a celebrity saying, yeah, pay me the big bucks, but I never want to walk a red carpet and I don't want any paparazzi, ever. That is dumb. It's not going to happen. It's the profession that they chose and that's what comes along with it. So if you want to show your ass and your titties to the world and they want to call you a hoe, then that's just what it is. Done.
I'm gonna give some constructive criticism, not just
I feel like that was constructive enough.
It wasn't constructive. I mean, what proof do you have? I've never seen her titties or anything like that.
I'm
but
just
I was
using basic stuff for what business that she's in.
Hey, I gave you the opportunity. You dropped the ball. So now I will rebound it and put it back on course. Now, I will tackle a couple of different things when we're talking about this in a very critique manner. Now, I do want to acknowledge this first and foremost. Like, when you put it in the public eye, you have public perception that actually goes on. And no matter what you do, I can't say that I've ever seen her, shaking her ass, this and that. But she is known as a known feminist. She's even said that on the Drink Champ show that she's known for a known feminist and for the slut walk and all these type of things. And she says that it is not men's business to be in women's business. Well, that is where I do agree with you, because everybody out here being judged. People right now that's looking at this show right now is we're talking about this podcast that actually went on with Amber Rose. We're being judged. And nothing is wrong with that. Now, where it get a little flaky at for me is here. If a woman is making money for those type of things, and us is a society, us is a culture, we see something wrong with that. I'm trying to figure out how are other people, especially men, when we see something wrong, we're attacked. And she also said that men shouldn't use the word hoe, and that men don't have derogatory words that come to us. Yes, they do. Misogynistic. You know what I'm saying?
That's very derogatory.
I'm called that on a daily. That I attack women and I have a viewpoint of being a misogynistic. I don't sound like a compliment to me. You understand what I'm saying? So she's very wrong in that aspect. Mm-hmm. Now, if you don't want to be known as a slut and you don't want to be known as whatever it is that you do, or like Murder Mook said, what is it that you do? You want to take people money. Last I checked, for sexual acts and sexual manners and shit like that, I mean, it's pretty much called tricking. You know what I'm saying?
It's been that way for ages.
And do you want that for your daughter? Do you want that for your sister? Do you want that for your mama? Do you want that for anybody in the black community? I understand, like, you don't want to be judged. You don't like hearing the judgment that go on by people, but this is what you put out there. And no one is going to give you any credit. And at the same point in time, who are you to say something like that when you say men ain't shit all the time? In the same way that you're saying stay out of women's business, you in men's business if you telling us what not to say.
Yeah.
Make that make sense.
I'm going to piggyback off of what you said. I don't know Amber Rose to have dated anyone who can't take care of her. Not saying that they did. I said I haven't seen her with anybody who couldn't. So that lets me know that she's being selective.
Who else has she dated? I know Wiz.
Say one word. Kanye West.
Okay.
And she got a baby from Wiz, correct?
Yeah.
So you want to be with providers. You want to be with leaders. And at the same time, tell them, if you see something broken, don't try to fix it by even verbalizing. And that is a huge mistake. We look to men to protect us, comfort us, take care of us. And when they have an opinion, they need to shut the fuck up.
Now, it's a question. I do have a question before you go any further. She's saying that she doesn't feel that black men are doing that. So this is why she's on this rant of saying, we do these type of things and we're more getting attacked. That black men don't do that. Like, how do you feel about that?
That black men don't get attacked?
No, that we are not protecting black women. That she's saying, like, basically, like, she's saying, like, basically, like, they want to love us. Is the black man. Mm-hmm. And she said this. We want to show y'all love, but we don't show love to them for the things that they do. And then I guess she put her, Kim, Ari, all these type of people in those mix, saying, hey, this is our business. All we want to do is make money, and it's the consumer's fault.
But I think you said the perfect thing. I get the paycheck. But first of all, you had to make that choice to get that paycheck. So since you made that choice, then deal with the consequences. But I like what you said. If it's not your job to judge, then let's just ask a simple question. I understand you don't want to be judged, but if you had a daughter, would you say, you know what? Don't go to college. Mommy's going to get you an OnlyFans page. I mean, come the fuck on. Is she kidding? Like, of course we're gonna say something. This is sex workers have never been looked at as Mother Teresa's. They've never been looked at as equivalent to nurses and teachers. For as long as I've been able to understand porn, it has been looked at as a negative. It's just evolved now from magazines to TV, from the TV to the internet. It's just evolved. That's all. It's still the same business like back in the 60s and 70s where people were fighting to even have someone's hairy coochie in a magazine. Like, it's the same exact business. Now we want to get bold enough because we got $1 million checks and shit, and we get $50,000 to make an appearance that you have just elevated yourself to nurse status, and you can ask people not to speak derogatory about you. I'm sorry, but to me, selling your body for sex is negative. It is not on the list of things that I'm going to give to my daughter to do. Now, can I be not judgmental? I understand someone saying I don't want to be judged. Fuck that. I get it. No one wants to be judged. However, I will ask the question again. While you're raising your daughters, your nieces, are you telling them not to go to school, nursing ain't shit, and become a hoe? Go to OnlyFans. If the answer is no, then you're dead. And I don't believe she would get back on Drink Champs and say, you know what? Of course I want all the young girls to have OnlyFans page. It's going to make you $1 million a year. Fuck yeah. I doubt she would say that. And if she can't say that, then she needs to take back all that shit she said on Drink Champs.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've often made this statement, and I will make this statement again. Oftentimes, especially on this show, when we get into this, and I always say, it's the women's responsibility to check these hoes. I've often said this over and over again. I know I have. We got plenty of shows. And I've said, because the women stay mute. So I want to attack it from the standpoint of what she's saying. She's basically saying, like, men don't need to say that. And then, the issue that I really had was this. There was this was, I think, a New Year's special, or probably, a New Year's special or Christmas special or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they was in a strip club. In that strip club, it's a bunch of strippers. Mm-hmm. And were they really going to step up to the plate and be like, no, I shouldn't be in here stripping. I shouldn't be in here. Y'all shouldn't be throwing dollars on me. Y'all shouldn't be. She was doing all of those things that's going on in a strip club. And then she looked to the ladies that was in there, was like, am I tripping about men shouldn't be in women business? Men shouldn't be calling women hoes because it's derogatory. So she's entitled to an opinion. Not ever will knock that from anybody. Do have a question though. Do you tell TMZ to mind their business? Do you tell all these other outlets to mind their business? You know what I'm saying? Everybody gives Andy Cohen. You telling him to mind his business? I don't think so, but I digress. But anyway, back on point. For women, I would want for other women to kind of step up and be like, hey, so men don't have to. Because it's like, to me, when men say it, we get attacked. We get attacked for saying, look, we don't want you to be a hoe. We don't want you to be on no
promiscuous.
Pole. We don't want those type of things. And a lot of times when she's been on interviews before where she has made these countless statements of who really cares about men. It's about what we want to do, this and that. But it's a whole bunch of women that want to be in relationships, and men are saying this is what we don't want. Right. So now she's at the head of the forefront leading slut walks. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And the title's in itself. She's on the front leading slut walk. So I'm asking women, please, like, am I tripping? So if you don't want to take our advice, don't. We gonna say what it is that we like. Don't take it. But for women like you that's sitting there, now what's gonna be said? Like,
this is my chance of saying
like, that's my thing.
This is my only chance though. It's this platform. I think there are a lot of women out there like me who just feel like the rest of the world feels about the N-word. It's like it's a hole you can't dig yourself out of. What am I supposed to do? Every person that I hear that say the N-word, I need to stop them in their tracks, approach them and say, we're not using that word in 2023. I'm not doing that. It's a big feat. So to try to convince the whole world on my part, or try to convince strippers to come off the pole and try to convince these girls on OnlyFans that they shouldn't be there. No, I'm not going to do that. But I will use this platform to rebuttal what she said. If that's your choice, then fucking deal with it. If you steal, you're going to be called a thief. You can't get mad. If you are stealing and someone calls you a thief and you can't say, I didn't take it, then accept the consequence of letting someone see you steal. If you lie and someone calls you a liar and you really lied, then accept the consequence of being called a liar. Now, I will say this. Because someone takes off their clothes for money, are they a hoe? No. Because for me, a hoe is a specific term for women who have money, who sell. A hoe is the different word for a prostitute. A pimp says, that's my hoe. So if you're not selling your vagina, then technically I can't call you a hoe, but I can say you do hoe shit.
I won't argue with that, but you already know if I say something, I'm gonna get in trouble. And not that I really give a fuck about any of that shit. Y'all know me. But I do want to, like I said, again, offer constructive criticism, because really, I felt like Murder Mook on there. He got attacked, but he definitely got caught off guard because he basically was doing a freestyle. And in that freestyle, when he was saying about things that women and men do, and he said, men are referred to as hoes too.
All the time.
And she said, no, that is a term for women because it's more derogatory towards us. And that's where, she started to lose me. And then she went on this tangent of basically saying, it's none of your business. She kept saying that shit. It's what business is it of yours? It's none of your business. It was like, I was looking at this play out and I was like, damn, I need to be on that panel.
Yeah, because they let her get away with that. What is it? The business, and this is what threw me, because I don't want to use the incorrect term, but I almost feel like it's the same as gaslighting. Because it's like, okay, she's technically right. It's not your business. But
everybody have a right to their opinion.
Yeah, my neighbor right now, if they were outside naked, and I looked out the window and I saw a nude person outside, yeah, it's not my business, but they're outside naked. It's not my business technically. That's a technicality. And she was saying that to push them away and throw them off, because technically she's right. I even saw him it's not my business, but it's what I observed, and I'm allowed to talk about what I observed.
But it is our business, because really at the end of the day, that's why I disagree. It is our business, because there's a plenty of women out here that keep saying, where are the real men at? Won't the real man step up? Won't this and that? Now you have a man that got attacked on drink chats for saying, look, I understand you can do your business. And that's what I was saying. If that's what you want to do OnlyFans, have at it. You want to go do porn, have at it. You want to go jump on a pole, have at it. You want niggas to throw money on you, women to throw money on you, have at it. But you cannot exempt yourself from public perception because you decide to wake up one day and be like, don't talk about me. That ain't none of your business. And she's hypocritical. You know what I'm saying? A hypocrite. Because in the same fell swoop, she was like, men don't do this. Men ain't shit. Men don't protect us. That is men business. So the same shit that you applying to men apply to yourself. He could have asked you that. That ain't none of your business, because it's man business. You understand what I'm saying? The rules apply both ways. So if you go out and just like we do this show and we put it out to the world, we can't get on here and be like, hey, we put this show out, but don't make no comments because this is none of your business. You understand what I'm saying? The two don't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't. And she was triggered. She was triggered by one word, hoe. And you know what? That to me is like, if the shoe fits, wear it. You don't get offended by things that don't apply to you. He was doing a freestyle and he said one word and she was like clutching her pearls. And she was riding with it too. That's what that was what was so crazy, because of how the turn went. Because she was like rocking with it and she was like, period. You know what I'm saying? She was doing all this shit. Then all of a sudden the shit just went left. She was like, well, I got a question. What's the problem? You know what I'm saying? And then she just went on that tangent. So to me, I was just like, and I guess that's a question for you. You know, even though you're saying initially how you feel, should more women stand up against what she's preaching now? Because
You know
she's
what, we
out
are.
because she's saying like it's their business, women business, I guess. So I guess the real question, Amber, I guess you can answer this. Like, if women tell you no, that's hoe shit, is it okay then? Is it all right then? Just like, and you gave the perfect example because we use this in our culture. We will tell white people, don't use the N-word. The N-word is for us because I'm black, cameraman black, you black, and we tell someone white not to use it. Now you have females saying, no, we don't want to be part of that slut walk. That's hoe shit, and we not. Is that okay now?
Yeah, because I'm one of those people.
That's the question now.
I don't like that shit. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to see that. I don't subscribe to anybody's OnlyFans page. Do I think women are beautiful? Absolutely. But I prefer a personal DM from somebody I'm already seeing. I want to see her titties. I don't want to see yours. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the business. The sex business is there for our pleasure. I am in the strip club at least twice a year. I am thoroughly entertained. But I would not tell my little girl cousins that that's the life. And that's okay. And she has to be able to be okay with that. That's why I'm posing the question to her. If she would not take a young woman and try to make her the new Amber Rose, then she knows unconsciously that it's not absolutely the best thing in the world to do. Was it great to fall back on? Fuck yeah. Kim releases a sex tape. Kim gets a reality show. Now Kim can put herself through law school, put her kids through college. Things great came from that. But I bet you if there's any other way to do it other than putting out a sex tape, she would have. If time would have stopped and said, God would have came from the heavens and said, young lady, that sex tape is going to work for you. But if you do this, that will also work for you. It might take a little longer. I do not believe she would have put out the sex tape. Now, some people may differ. Some people might have a different opinion about their motivation as a family. But I feel like if you have someone tells you that you don't have to take your clothes off, and you knew for sure you could get the same money, you wouldn't take your clothes off. Because you yourself know taking off your clothes is derogatory. You yourself know that. Because if someone gave you a different option and you could keep your clothes on and get the same paycheck, bitch, you would.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. She also said that men were haters. And I'm not saying that men can't be haters, but women can be haters also. But just to keep it on a constructive note, like if someone is telling you like, we're calling it like what it is. And I feel like a lot of time that's a problem for people. Like when it start triggering people and stuff like that, it's like when I see hoe shit, I say it's hoe shit. I don't be like it's go shit or it's professional shit, or anything like that. Like last I checked, we ain't having the pole Olympics. You know what I'm saying?
You're not getting a gold medal for twerking?
in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? And they handing out the gold, silver, and bronze.
Like it's honorable or something.
We're gonna have to remember this because twerking is going on.
It might be in the Olympics.
Hey.
I bet they won't be naked though.
I'm not. Well, see, but that was the other thing. Like I said, like when you was mentioning that, I don't ever recall seeing Amber naked.
I haven't.
But based on what she champions for, based on the things that she says, like, hey, there's the consumers. They pay for us on the OnlyFans. We go out there and we get a bag. We sell this dream, and men need to stay out of that. Well, most men don't ever be in that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like what it is women want to do nowadays, they do. So to me, even from the standpoint of what she's saying, you was wrong on that end. It's all right to have an opinion. We're not out front picketing no OnlyFans.
Right.
No,
Who's gonna do that?
Like we ain't out there doing any of that shit, but we are calling it like what it is. So if I see a woman on a pole and I call her a stripper, I mean,
that's what she is.
I'm trying to figure out like what's the problem. You know what I'm saying? If you on Instagram and I don't really know what it is that you do, I'm gonna be like, what is it that you do? You know what I'm saying? And she gonna list off a whole bunch of shit because that's what the freestyle was based on. He was like, hey, the no talent is the new talent. You know what I'm saying? And do I agree with that? I do. can people hate based upon that? They can. Are men gonna be jealous about situations like that? Non-talented men are gonna be. You understand? I get all that, but putting someone in a box or just to make a general statement to say this is our business and ain't none of your business. You don't have some of the same energy towards some of these, like, you know how many celebrities now that actually have been caught, like Janet Jackson, where people have taken shots of her where she just out on her porch. You know what I'm saying? And TMZ have that picture and run with it. It ain't none of their business. But I don't see you jumping down their throat. And they work for corporations. Or they sell it to corporations and you ain't trying to fight that shit. So for you to get upset in just a general conversation on Drink Champs and people is having that, I mean, I'm gonna call bullshit when I see it. You can get mad at that if you want to, but
and
that's
I felt
what it
like
was.
too,
I mean,
like I said, I'm gonna go back to the gaslighting because I felt like this was the opportunity for the black woman to speak to the black man, and I felt like because this whole movement,
she felt she was,
yeah, and this whole movement where women have been coming out attacking men like that, they all was like, well, sorry, and Noriega goes, I'm gonna let you know. This is the best show ever. I don't have to. Are you kidding? This is the time for you to say, hold on now. I don't want my wife on the pole. Hold on now. My wife can't have an OnlyFans page.
But you know what? I will say this. To me, his platform got derailed by that because of that Kanye shit. And how ironic when you mentioned that. I just remember when you said it, that she dated Kanye. And now Nori kind of walks on eggshells because of the whole thing that Kanye did. So now I felt like he was looking at that like, yeah, I ain't touching that because
he didn't want to get attacked.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do this for you.
That's what we gonna do. We gonna rip niggas' balls now. We gonna take niggas' balls away and they can't say what they want to say.
That's what they've been doing.
I ain't having it.
That's been going on forever.
I ain't having it.
Yeah,
I ain't having it.
Yeah, that's
I am not having it.
And that was what was so crazy because I looked at that, I did feel that way. I felt he got caught off guard. But another thing was he was trying. All of them were trying to be careful with their words. That like the DJ, he was like, so you mean no men should say anything? Like they were kind of.
That was just weird.
They was kind of like accent, like they
wouldn't. They were scared of her.
They wouldn't do pushback.
I wish.
But well, let me not say that. They was doing soft pushback. You know what I'm saying? Versus like if I was there, it would have been like. It would have
went down.
It would have been like 51 Spade is. You know what I'm saying? I'd have got attacked just by the sluts. You know what I'm saying? Just the sluts and the slut walkers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But believe it or not, and I would test anybody thing. Believe it or not, for the same way that she stands for I guess hoes or sluts or feminists. She's feminist. It's okay for a heterosexual man to stand up for heterosexual men and what we don't want. We don't be asking for a lot of this shit. And when we voice our opinion immediately get turned to he's male bashing, he's misogynistic, he's this, he's that, he hate women, he hate his mama. I know this because I see these comments my goddamn self. And has it stopped me? No, it don't. And matter of fact, I want to thank everybody because we are now partners with YouTube. So now
let the comments come.
So now I want everybody to please do donations. Jump into our super chat. Hey, we got a lot of things that are going to be coming up. A whole lot of changes. Yes. I wanted to take that time out to say thank everybody for helping us make partnership with YouTube. And hey, stay tuned. We got some good stuff coming up.
We do. The next thing coming up is actually the next topic, which is sexual critique or bedroom critique. Do men really take it well? And usually with Alpha Male God and I, we always talk about the female perspective.
Correct.
And the male perspective. This one is centered towards the male, but it involves the woman because the woman is the one delivering the message. So here we go. Bedroom criticism. Do men take it well? I would say not all men take it badly. Not all men take it well. It depends on the woman and how she says it. For me, my particular partner, I feel like I could say anything to him concerning the bedroom. But there are certain words and certain tone I can't use no matter what the fuck we talking about. It could be in the bedroom or outside of the bedroom. There are going to be certain words that I can use to trigger him to shut me the fuck down, or he's going to shut down. And that's what you don't want. So I think that any man could take, most men could take it.
Have you ever critiqued a man?
Yes.
Okay, how'd that go?
We didn't get in a fight, but it didn't go well. Let me tell you why it didn't go well. Because it didn't end up being fixed. That's my example of something not going well. When I gave him the requite, which was, I don't mind sharing because I'm an open book, he just came too fast. When I said, you nut quick and I'm not getting off, he said that's the first time he ever heard that.
Now my question, the reason I went this route was because I was curious to know if you use your own advice. Now, the question now is, how did you deliver it? Because see, the thing to me is like when I hear women say, well, men don't take critiques well, especially in the bedroom. Would I disagree with that? No. But I also agree with you. A lot of times when women start delivering messages to men, it's like they have something to compare it to. So, you know, you had Jonathan that done beat your back out, beat your tonsils up, the whole nine, you done got stretched out the long way. You know what I'm saying? And now you in there with Paul Millsap.
Not Mr. Millsap.
No pun intended. This shit just rolls off my tongue. Don't shoot the messenger. It just rolls out.
That's so funny.
But what I'm saying is, but now that you delivering the message, I feel a lot of times with women, it's like they deliver that message, but they angry because they didn't reach that climax. They angry and they caught up in that moment. So when they caught up in that moment, they start saying shit to them that sounds like it's kind, but it ain't really how it sound and how it come off.
For me, I'm going to be transparent and completely honest. I did it wrong.
Okay.
Not particularly what I said. It was when I said it. And I'm going to put it this way. I let it happen so long. Over and over again, the nutting fast and not saying anything. That when I finally said something, I was up to here with it. And when you're fed up, your delivery is going to be, you don't care what you say because you're fed up. In your mind, I'm done. I'm not fucking him again. So you're going to let whatever fly out your mouth because you don't give a fuck no more. So I will say the mistake I made was not saying something about it the very first time it happened. Like, is my coochie overly wet? Are you feeling okay? Is this something that happens all the time? Can you go twice after nutting? There were a lot of questions that I should have been asking way in the beginning that would have kept me from either fucking him at all or being so angry that I wasted time with someone who was not satisfying me.
Okay, so when you said that to him, what did you say?
I asked him if he wanted me to go fuck somebody else.
See what I'm saying? Now this is why we here. This is why we here right now. You understand what I'm saying? Now she went through this whole long soliloquy like it was some innocent shit that she said to the opposing opponent. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't. Do you want me to fuck someone else? And crazy enough is like, as you was telling this story, you told his response like, well, I never had any complaints. Even that, what he said sounded a lot nicer than what you said. So I'm trying, and I understand you like, hey, I'm up to here, this and that. And a lot of times when I hear things like this, I say to myself like, is it true that most men don't take critique well? I would say probably so. Reason being is because when it comes to sex in men are very egotistic when it comes to sex. But we're egotistic because of sex because that's the way women have made it. So now, when women throw jabs at men, what do they attack first? Your sexuality. You know what I'm saying? Look at Kevin Samuels. He got to be gay. He don't like women. It's like you attack, like, if anything that a man is gonna defend, he's gonna defend his manhood. He's gonna defend his sexual prowess. He's going to do those things. So now you have you sitting there saying, do you want me to go fuck somebody else? Now, first of all, this is bad pussy mismanagement. You know what I'm saying? There's no other way to say this. And the reason I'm going to say this is because why on earth did you let it go for so long? And now we're getting into the topic of critiques. So the main question, you don't even have to answer the other part. The main question is, amongst messing with him, did you feel like he was not a person who could take a critique? And so, because you said you kept letting it go. So, did you feel
that he couldn't take the truth?
There you go. Did you feel he could take the critique?
I'm trying to answer the question honestly, so that would lead me to think about other things that he was doing that I may have said something and he blew up at me, but there wasn't anything. There wasn't anything that he had done while we were dating that would make me think he would not accept the information that I was giving him. But there was nothing that he did to make me think he wouldn't.
So you decided.
I decided just not to say anything.
Not to give him the option.
Wow.
Yeah.
You decided not to give him the option to correct what was being done wrong. You understand what I'm saying? Because I do want to stay on topic as far as like when I hear women say, well, men don't take critique well, or men, the reason this even came up is because I was getting a lot of emails and a lot of women was like, you always go from the perspective of what the woman don't do and this and that. Now we on the perspective of what the man got to take. But I also want you to look at how he has to take it. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, men don't, you know what? I just don't think your pussy is small enough. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what other men have told you. I know you may think that it's good, but if you was a little bit tighter, you could probably do some Kegels or something like that, and we could probably get some, men don't do no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Women would probably get offended by something being said, and I'm talking calm. But when it's come to a man, it's like the man get thrown with some shit that one, not only did that statement that you made insult his ego, but it's also you're doing a threat.
But can I ask you something? Because you've been asking me questions. It's like, don't you know that this has only been 5 minutes? You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing in you. Your ego doesn't rise to the occasion. You're not questioning yourself after 1, 2, 3, 4. There's nothing in you that's like, damn, baby, I'm sorry, I got you. You understand what I'm saying? That's, I think, was like, I didn't say anything maybe because, one, I thought maybe after first and the second time he would be like, damn, I got to do better. And that it would get better because his own ego is not okay with that. You understand what I'm saying? And then after so long, after me seeing that, okay, this is just him, then I was like offended because, nigga, you ain't eating no pussy. You ain't rubbing no feet. You're not making up for not being good in bed. But I also wanted to give him that opportunity because for me, growing up, I was always taught sex isn't everything. So I feel like if we're going on dates and he's being sweet and it's like, damn, I can't. We went on a couple of dates in the beginning. I can't say that that's how we ended the relationship, but we went on a couple of outings. I thought it was going in a good direction. I felt like it was progressing well. Until I realized that I was being used. Okay.
So the real issue is you was being used. So it was you being used and also getting bad sex. Well, not bad sex, quick sex.
Yeah, because I don't really particularly mind being used. Now that's going to sound kind of crazy, but if you're someone that's making a lot of money, which I was at the time, and I wasn't in the environment that I was in, I wasn't meeting people who made a lot more money than I did. I was always kind of the breadwinner. So having someone who still lived at home with his mom, had a car, but still lived at home with his mom, there were certain things that I did not expect of him. So that was okay with me.
This is bad mismanagement.
It is. And I will admit that it was a bad choice. But I started regretting the things that I were doing that I usually don't mind doing when I wasn't getting off.
Gotcha.
Because it's like what am I really doing all this for?
I would ask you what you were doing all this for, because you know, regardless of the fact of whatever, you know, one thing, there's a couple of things I'm going to address.
Okay.
Okay. So you said you wanted to ask me a question. So I'm going to answer
Yeah,
your
please
question.
answer that
I'm
question.
going to answer your question.
Okay.
Watch this. I'm going to show you something real quick. You know what I'm saying? There are certain things like what I just said. Like, when I talk to women, I can line 20, probably 50 women up. Is your pussy good? Yes. Yes. It's fire. Yes. Cool. They can't live without this. You know what I'm saying? You start hearing all of that shit. For real. So, now, when we move to men. And now, every movie, there's shows that show this. It's just about like a whole bunch of things that do this. You ever seen a man nut quick on a movie?
Yeah.
You think that's by design?
I think sometimes things are happening. And when a guy nuts fast on a movie, there's usually a line after it. Like, damn, that was good. Or I haven't had sex in a long time. Or I'm sorry, I'm drunk. Men don't. If I've ever seen in a movie, I've never seen a nigga nut and then just, I'm going to sleep. And there wasn't a conversation about it the next day. It was never not talked about. So therefore, unconsciously, even the people that wrote the film know that if you have sex with a woman and you come in 5 minutes, it's looked down upon.
Mm-hmm. And yet it still keep happening. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is like the reason we talk about these things is like critique. And I saw something not too long ago, believe it or not, okay? And this ain't bragging, you know what I'm saying? Like every time I talk to people and they start saying I'm saying shit, I'm like, yeah, this ain't bragging. Now, this is one thing that I can say. When you ask general people like what's the length of time of sex should be, this shit is so varies so much. I've heard women say 10 minutes is fine. That's 5 minutes away from what you saying. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've heard women say 30 minutes is straight. I've heard women say, I don't want my shit beat out for 45 minutes. That motherfucker need to go ahead and that motherfucker need to go ahead and bust that nut quick. You get what I'm saying? So from there itself, you also need to understand that there are a lot of men and women that are so indecisive when it comes to sex, so indecisive that they won't even give accurate timing. Another question that I would have would be like, there are certain men who bust nuts and they come back and they bust again. And they don't have the opportunity because women be so angry that they won't give them an opportunity because they decided not to say something. They decided not to do some of those things. So to me, that's why I said bad mismanaging of pussy. Because a lot of times the critiques, they self are left unsaid that it's just like for women. I can't convince a woman that her pussy is bad. Know why? Because so many men that are not used to getting pussy are telling y'all that pussy is good. So now I got to come behind you and tell you no, whoever you was fucking. Like I talked to a chick not too long ago. That same scenario that you're talking about right there. Mm-hmm. She said that. She was like, well, every time I fuck with dudes, you know, they normally come in 5-10 minutes, you know, some shit like that. I was like, do you think that your pussy was good or do you think they just did that? She was like, oh, sometimes it's probably too wet for him. Or he probably nuts fast with everybody. I'm trying to figure out like how you got to your shit being good to he nutted quick by her giving her head in 5 minutes. He nutted quick by entering her sexually. No, your pussy ain't good and your mouth ain't good. That means he just nut fast. Some people don't know the timing of what it is that sexually satisfies them. I've been with a woman who nutted in 5 minutes. And she told me this. You know, she's like, hey, I bust nuts in 5 minutes. And when I bust them nuts, I do not like to have sex afterward. Now, I had never met a woman like that. And she was right. She bust in 5 minutes and dried up like that. And it wasn't really nothing I could do. And the bad thing about it is I'm a person that like to fuck for 45 minutes. I couldn't do nothing with 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So I just decided we can't fuck no more. Like we can't.
Yeah, because you would have been doing it for nothing if you
That's
never
cool.
get off.
It's cool, but she gave the disclaimer. I understood the war report.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I also knew that this ain't gonna work. So back to you, Miss I don't answer questions.
I mean, I'm glad you answered it because I struggled with that. You know that I haven't come yet. I haven't done any of those things, and he did not seem to care. He did his thing in 5 minutes, and I thought to myself, wouldn't a man be like, damn, I got to do better? I thought he would try things like take something. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't think he would just be okay with that happening over and over again. Now, you did make one point.
He's gonna be okay with it because he kept letting it happen.
Right, but I do remember this one time. I got out of bed. I was really pissed because, again, it wasn't really even 5 minutes. It's really like 5 pumps.
I don't really think you know
No,
time,
I swear to
I don't
you.
think you know time,
No.
though.
Wait. I swear to you it was based on pumps. I'll prove that. Because I don't keep a clock in my room. The only clock I have is on my cell phone. I didn't have my cell phone with me, so I can't technically say it was 5 minutes. But I can tell you that there were only 5 or 6 pumps before he came. That's no time for me to get off.
Okay, I understand all that. And it's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is this.
But I didn't get finished.
Okay.
I left the bedroom and I think he felt the steam coming off me. He felt I was mad. He was like, "What, you done?" And I was like, "No, you're done." He was like, "Yeah, but I can go again." And I know that you had said that, but you're right. I was just turned off. First of all, it wasn't the first time. So you waited 2-3 months to ask me now to tell me that your dick can get back up? Because this first 90 days, you just letting it go flat.
Look at the kettle calling the kettle black. You know what I'm saying? You didn't give him the opportunity, and he didn't give you the opportunity.
But I was the one being let down, so he should have been giving me the opportunity first before I had to ever say anything.
Gotcha. You know, one thing that I do know, and it's an unfortunate thing, but this is something true to rights that I always say. As a woman, you should know it doesn't take much to please a man. Men can come off a donut hole. You know what I'm saying? Don't take that much, anything like that. Women have difficulty orgasming and stuff like that. So now when we come full circle talking about, is it all right for bedroom critiques and stuff like that, men gonna need help with that if you decide to continue on with that man. Mm-hmm. Not something like what you pulled off. What you pulled off is some bullshit.
I insulted him.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So when you say those type of things, and don't get me wrong, I know exactly what you're talking about, because a lot of times, let's say for instance, like sometimes women have women and men, we have pillow talk, or we go down the sexual evolution of, the person that you with, this and that. One time I was talking to a woman, she was kind of hesitant to say a little things, and I was like, why are you hesitant to say things? And she was like, yeah, I just don't like to talk about like my sexual experience, because sometimes when I talk about men to other men, they get upset. And I'm like, why? I just don't feel like men are very common. I'm like, what kind of things are you saying? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's another key thing too. Like sometimes women don't have a good judge of their character or the partner that they with. There is a way to critique people, and there is also a way to talk about your sexual escapades with someone else. But you ever look at, you read, right? You ever look at how women write books and how men write books? They are different, because women are detailed with the shit. They start saying shit like, the sweat was coming down the nape of his back, and it went off my nipple and shit like that. My pussy started pulsating. Like, men don't write like that. So also when women start describing shit to men, they start saying shit like, he was like, his dick was like Dumbo. You know what I'm saying? Like, they start saying shit that can be insulting to a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you was with someone that's Dumbo. Now you with somebody that ain't. I ain't saying what he is, but he ain't Dumbo like how you described it. Why on earth would you say something like that, knowing the type of man that you with? So that's my thing, is like, you also have to know what your partner can take
right.
Do he receive criticism well? Like if he can't receive criticism well outside of the bedroom, what makes you think he can take criticism inside the bedroom?
And I think that's a good way of judging it. Anything that you've talked about outside of the bedroom, if you had a debate, you know his trigger words. Sex is a big part of a relationship, yes. But if you're in a relationship, there are several things going on that you've had a talk about, a chat about, a little argument about, a little spat about. So you've learned what triggers your spouse, whether that be a word, whether that may be a tone, whether that's you rolling your neck. So you have to remove those things when you're critiquing someone.
Correct.
You have to remove the triggers, because I've been in a very valid argument that I felt like I was going to win, because all my points were on mark, boy. I was ready. But I said, like, you have to do this. And my guy, I don't give a fuck what you talking about. He gonna always stop you and say, I ain't gotta do shit. So now we arguing about him ain't got to do shit, and my argument is going down the toilet because I chose the phrase you have to. So now we're arguing about me telling him what he got to do. Just that quick.
Question.
Let me give you a secret, Kane, about me. The second nut is the hardest nut to bust.
So you gonna get your nut off the second one because he's gonna go longer.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna let you know that motherfucker gonna stand up forever.
Okay, that's a good thing to know. I don't quite have that problem this go around,
No,
but that's good information for everybody. Is
So now
that
everybody know?
And then and you know, that's another thing about women. Sometimes I think, like, you know, we do know that a lot of times with men do have to learn women, learn their partner, learn what gets them off and stuff like that. But I also feel it need to be equal also for women. Women need to do a little bit more studying on how to please their men, how to talk to their men, how to critique them, or how to get them to do things in the bedroom, sometimes without actually doing that. Like a lot of the older women and stuff like that, I've often heard them be like, your granddad just think he in charge. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really get this shit. And it's amazing to me that back then women knew how to get their men to do shit, and have the man feeling like he was the man.
Yeah.
But this generation can't get it right for shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know how to manipulate the person that they with to get them to please them sexually. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's a big ass problem.
Yeah.
So when we're having these type of conversations about critique and stuff like that, like, is it always room in the bedroom to learn? Absolutely. Is it ways to deliver shit?
yes?
Absolutely. And you can't mismanage your pussy. Mismanaging your pussy
That's gonna be the next topic.
gonna make you upset. And also, like cameraman said, like I know dudes that be like, you know what, I'm finna jack off before I get over to our house. That actually is a thing.
Really?
Yes.
Do it before dating.
Yeah.
I heard him doing it before a date so that if she did not, you could be more charming. You done already busted your nut, so you don't have to be so aggressive and so thirsty. I get that part of it. But I didn't know that you're jacking off to get that first nut off so that if you do fuck, you can go a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because
As long as you're within that time frame.
yeah.
This is actually
And just-
a learning environment.
and just like women,
Shit.
that's men that know their body. You understand what I'm saying? Like they've dealt with the experience and they know, like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and get this out the way because once I get in, I'm gonna stand up in it. You know what I'm saying? And then you can really go. So by you not having that conversation and being able to critique him in that way and letting it go on for so long, that's why you at your wit's end with some shit, and then now everything is just going left.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like in most cases, do I think that men accept critiques? I think they can accept critiques. Do I think it's a easy situation? No, I don't think it's an easy situation because, I mean, you're talking about a man's privates and his sex and stuff like that. And women are very, very critical when y'all talk about men's sex game. Like, listen to some of the talk shows and reality shows and shit. Like, listen to how y'all talk to men. Oh, girl, he broke my back. Like, oh, he was all in my guts and this and men hear this type of shit. You know what I'm saying? His dick was the size of his forearm. Like, men hear this shit. You understand what I'm saying? And then y'all start judging because you decided to be with Mandingo, but you can't pull Mandingo, you pull Pee Wee Herman, and now you upset. Like, them two don't go together. And keep in mind that it's women who put that type of shit out there. Because for me, when I hear women start complaining like a dude fucked them hard, this and that, blame your counterparts out here, these women. Because women start saying that shit. I need a man with 9 inches or better. I need a man that's hung like a horse. I need someone to hurt me. I need somebody to bend my back out of shape. You know what I'm saying? And this is why men be fucking y'all hard.
And pussy be bigger than a motherfucker.
Throw a hot dog down that tongue.
Big pussy. That's something I don't know anything about.
Every woman claim they don't know what it is.
Big pussy?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm just saying like I ain't never. I tell you this. It's very rare that I could run into a woman and she was like, I got a big pussy.
No one's ever gonna admit that.
You know what I'm saying? She gonna say my pussy.
Right.
She gonna say my pussy fat. She gonna use all these other terms, but she gonna never say that. But you know what's consistent on what they will say? They tight. They small. It's good. All this other type of
wet,
shit. Yeah,
it's
all
creamy.
this la la land shit. You know what I'm saying? All them consistent of that shit. And then and right after y'all fuck, it has the same question every time. Was that good for you? You just said you had the bomb. Why are you asking me?
I can tell whether it's good or not based on how you come.
Every man, again, see, you missed the lesson. I did all this for nothing, fellas. Y'all saw this? Y'all saw how quickly that went down? Just went completely over her head. I just told you men could come off a donut hole, and she was like, I can tell.
No, I said how you come. I've seen oozing cum. I've seen shooting cum. I've seen a little bit of cum, and I've seen a lot of cum. So if you shoot out and it's a whole bunch of it,
he can be backed
it
up.
was good.
He can be backed up.
Shut up. That's not true.
What? You don't know anything about men.
This shit is like an uphill battle, fellas. You understand what I'm saying? This is a woman that knows absolutely nothing about men. And this is what I'm talking about right here. Women need to start doing research on men. Y'all just out here fucking and y'all don't even know what y'all doing.
But wait a minute. What about the scream that comes out? Doesn't that show you that it's good if he like screams?
Watch this.
That's personal choice.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me show you something. You heard that what you just said?
Yeah.
What about that scream? If men judge women on how they scream, 9 times out of 10, we would be wrong. There is a such thing, you know what I'm saying, of moments, pretending, acting, the whole 9. And just
But
because
you can't act in that moment. Someone told me their mind is gone when you bust a nut.
Tell women that. Do women fake? Do women scream?
but we're not busting a nut at the time.
Do women?
That's the difference. If there's cum coming out of your dick, you're not faking.
It's not about faking. It's not about faking. I fake too, but
there wouldn't be no cum coming out if you were faking. If you're faking, then you're really faking. But
okay,
I'm saying,
how would
what
you?
about?
Gotcha. How would you know if someone nut? Because you're supposed to be having protected sex. So how would you know if someone nut? Because in the
I
times
like raw dick.
you saying this shit on camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what's wrong with these hoes out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a complete problem right here. But
I'm not out here hoeing, so it's okay.
But just for your, just so you know, just like women, when you reach orgasm, sometimes women are thinking about different things to reach them and get them to orgasm.
That's true.
Guess what? Men have Rolodexes. You know what I'm saying? So just because we bust that nut, don't mean that nut is for you.
Okay. Lesson learned. Damn. So the scream not even be for me.
Scream ain't even for you.
That's crazy. Okay.
There you go.
Can't do nothing but accept it. That's what it is right here on another episode of Relations Guys. It's now time for the tap in portion of the show. That's when we take popular topics on social media or your personal email, question, comment, situation. It's all tapping in. So do you have a tap in for us tonight?
I most definitely do. And that tap in is about approaching side chicks approaching couples.
Okay.
Like, so if there was a situation where a side chick saw her dude, or I don't know, she was a side chick, but she felt it her obligation to go and tell the main lady that
Who he was with having dinner.
that he was with having dinner. She had decided to go approach him, and she said that she went over there with the intent of just informing the lady, like, hey, she need to know. She said, I didn't go over there disrespectful. I went over there, introduced myself, let her know that he's fucking me too. And while she was talking, he told her to get away from his woman, and she put her hand on him, and then he swiped it. And from there, you can imagine what happened. It escalated. He tossed her over in a Waffle House, and shit got crazy in there. But the question really is, like, should you approach, even if you're the side chick, should you approach a couple or anybody giving information, or should you just keep that information?
Well, when I first heard this story, first thing I ran to was every situation is going to be different.
Correct.
We don't know the last time whether they saw each other, that he slapped her and called her a bitch and walked out on her. We don't know what happened before she decided that, hey, I'm going to approach this table. That was my first thought. But overall, in the world that we live in, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't do that because you don't know who got a gun in their purse, who could stab you. You don't know how his wife was going to take that, what they got going on at home. There's just so many moving parts that you are really gambling with your life if you approach people, especially in public, especially a couple. We don't know how volatile either one of them are. They can shoot you dead. And from you delivering a message, now your family is burying you. Like, come on, we got to do better than that. So I don't think it's a good idea to ever approach, confront people in public, especially if you're the side chick and this man or woman is out with their significant other. Now, I had to put myself in the situation. What if my husband is out on a date with a side chick and I saw? Now, me being his wife, I'm going to the motherfucking table, but I'm going to sit down and act like I already know that she's there. So she's not going to know that me and my husband got trouble. Him and I got trouble when we get home. But in public, we are united front. So I'm stopping by to pick up my to-go order, and I just wanted to stop by and say hello and introduce myself. Honey, I'll see you when we get home. But you will know that I saw you.
It is different for you are 100% correct. It has different situations, different circumstances for every situation. And in this one, that's why I wanted to clarify that this was a side chick. And to me, once you a side chick, a side dude, any of that type of shit, like, really, you have no right, to me, and this is my opinion, to go over there and trying to fuck up shit that got going on. And the other thing is ego. I think a lot of times people got to check their ego. Your ego will get you hurt, get you damaged, get you killed, get you shot. And for her, I think the caption read that she had like a black eye and she was kind of bruised up a little bit, this and that. And I'm like, to me, that you brought that on yourself. Like, it's not like, what did you expect that's going to happen? Most men will always protect what's going on, right or wrong. Did he do it the right way? That's not for me to debate. But what I'm saying is his reaction gonna be the same way. You're not big and bad. You letting your ego get in the way and get you damaged. You know what I'm saying? He might go home and argue with her and then fuck her, and then everything could be all back, back good. What was the sense of you going over to do that shit? And if you was the side chick, then just play your position. That's all I'm gonna say as far as that. Did he have the right to put his hands on it, this and that? You let your ego decide that. You know what I'm saying? Because for one, if you are the side chick, you should know who he is, about his reactions, how his reaction could go. And the bad thing about human nature is you don't know. There's people who have approached people, got out their cars, go and behind the car that and bumped into him and got shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't know people reaction. So to me, if that was your beef and you saw it and you just hated it, then to me, keep it to yourself and address him at a different time. cooler heads
Send that whole
should
email or
prevail. Yeah, cooler heads should prevail. I don't want to see nobody getting hurt like she did, getting in a scuffle or anything like that, because you just don't know. So I'm not here to promote violence. I'm saying think before you do shit. And I think a lot of times people can come out unscathed. And on top of that, is he really worth it? If you feel that he's doing his wife wrong and you was the side chick, this and that, and it's not worth it, let it go.
Let it go. Yeah, if you see
Let
him
it go.
doing that,
Yeah.
you accepted your position if you're in it. So that's all I have to say about that. My name is Kana Lassiter. You can find me on IG and Twitter at Kana Lassiter.
Hey, you can find your boy on both platforms. That's Twitter and IG. Want to thank everybody back for the new season. Make sure that y'all hit up our super chat. We are now live on YouTube, so now y'all can interact with us as we go, and we will be able to answer your questions on the dot and show the support. We got a new contest coming out. We're going to be giving away shirts giveaway, and we might even get invited on the show if you're in the Florida location.
That's awesome, guys. That's our show. And as he always says on the outro,
Don't be trying to take my old swag. Can't nobody do that swag like me. So I'm going to sign us out this thing like I normally do. And you know how I do it. I keep it real. And I always say,